8/19/23. Believe it or not, they showed up again. Even after everything. Last night was horrible. They were running by my apartment screaming. It's like, why don't you hang it up? Seriously, hang it up. They're not funny. They have made fun of the FBI agent on for falling for the style of tapes before June 7th, 23, Walmart 62. On June 7th, 23, by the front bathrooms, taping on him. Screamed out his name while they fooled him with their stunt and mocked him. Lighthouse Time July 9th, 23. Trinity Gospel women admit to selling the login to the case, made a ton of money, and dared the FBI to fix it. They wouldn't dare fix it, so they don't think they're stoppable. And then on Thursday, this last Thursday, walking by my clients, one of the drug dealers are off in the distance where you can't see him. And he yells out, that idiot ran a stop sign and killed that kid. How dare that family say a word to her? Okay. Well, yeah, it's a shame. Their father killed their son. He purposely didn't stop at a stop sign and kill their kid. It's a shame. You can't feel sorry for him. It's a shame. He would have been facing murder charges for not stopping at that stop sign. At least involuntary manslaughter. Because Brian Laney showed up and told us that church people were behind him. And he didn't even try to stop. Just blew right through it. Now, it's strange when I had him play with their brakes. The brake lights would at least came on. He didn't even try to stop. He was probably showing off for the church people behind him. Hold on, we're running it. And pff, they're dead. That shame that their father killed their kid. Just as if he would have been playing with a loaded gun and it went off and shot him. You can't feel sorry for somebody that their arrogance of one of their family members cost their family member their life. And because of their shame, they turn around trying to kill people and blame somebody else for it. That had nothing to do with nothing, and they just want to hurt somebody. And people were even talking about that in Louisville the other day. It is their shame that they're trying to hurt everyone. They don't know how to deal with it, or hurting other people. Okay. Now, Thursday, 2 days ago, on August 17th, 23, I'm sitting outside after that guy yells out, that idiot ran a stop sign, killed that kid. How dare that family say a word to her? Okay, it's that idiot's fault. Okay. Some lady and guy walks by and said, even the drug dealers they hired to watch her, nobody finds any of this funny. The guy said, did she do anything wrong? She said, no. They already confessed everything was them before. Okay? She said, I didn't realize they drugged her and told her to say it. Bullshit. Bullshit. We're going to put it down to this. Bullshit. They've been bragging since 18. They were drugging me up and telling me to say stuff in front of the cops and everybody. Bullshit. Okay? Said it, and everything was them. And they already confessed, okay? And the FBI left her up there because of what they did to her before. None of this is funny. And they made fun of the FBI for falling for it. Do you think they're going to fix this? I don't know what they're going to do. Her ex-husband even knew it was a medication error that made her sick before, and I checked. They did tell him to sue him before. And he didn't tell anybody. He let all those people do all those things to her. None of this is funny. See, this is where people are acting ignorant because they don't want to get in trouble. Bullshit. Bullshit. First month of the case, this little old man came up to me in front of cops and investigators in Walmart 62 by Wood Forest. Comes up to me. I had a bruise on my leg, and I've been throwing up all morning. And he came up to me for every idle word you tell on us. I'll turn it on you. I'm like, who are you? He said, You try to leave Dave as your child molester. I'm like, who are you? He said, do you know that bruise on your leg? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, I use sodium pentothal. Sodium pentothal is a lethal outlaw drug you actually lie under, and it's been outlawed since 17 in spy flick movie stuff. You actually lie under. You'll confess to anything. Okay? All right. He said, do you know what you told me? Now, I never talked to him. He broke in my house. He broke in my bedroom and stabbed me with a date rape drug, an amnesia drug, and told me to say the stupid lie. He said, you know what you told me? You were wearing this one nightgown. You bent over him probably once, and they accidentally seen your butt. You had a life of pain because of it. You tried to leave David as your child molester for that. I'm like, who are you? So I get away from that freak. I go home to a legally bugged house, and I'm like, Dave, I always wore the grandma nightgown down to my knees, underwear and a house coat when the grandkids were over. He's like, I know that. Like a sweater and a house coat when the grandkids were over before. I know that. I said, besides a grandma nightgown down to my knees. I had a big long one. I said, and some laces I got from you. I just replaced everything last year. Years ago, we were video chatting. You were helping me fix the DVD player. And when I bent over and I had the grandma nightgown, underwear and a house coat on, I know you did. He said, I said, they only made fun of the back of my knees. Ooh, Grandma, what's on the back of your legs? Varicose veins. Here, hold Papa while I get changed. He said, I know you said that. They only made fun of the back of my knees. I know that. See, they changed. They have been bragging. They drugged me up since 18 and told me to say crazy stuff. People walk up and warn her. We drugged her and told her to say this and laugh at me in the face, and I'd have bruises and I'd be throwing up. I lost 70 pounds after I called the FBI and 18 before. I had people come up, it's me and my men that question you at night. That's why you have bruises. Dave was human trafficking me to strange men under drugs and let them drug me up and tell me to say stuff with amnesia drugs. Those, like I talked to a sheriff, those amnesia drugs are so bad they control you and you have no memory, you're wide awake. My one coworker, Dar, she had a set of twins. One had died and she was grieving really hard. Her friends talked her into going out one night and get a babysitter for the surviving twin. She went to take a drink out of something, started acting happy. A group of people came up and were talking to her, and then she left with them willingly. They didn't think anything of it. She found herself in a puddle of pee. Next morning, she's throwing up, dizzy, really messed up, like me. She found out 2 months later she was pregnant, and she's arguing with the doctor. How could I be pregnant? I've not had sex. They had raped her and left her. That's why they call them date rape drugs. You're willingly talking to these people. Sleepwalking. My neighbor, Mike, got roofied in a bar. He came up to me when I walked out of my apartment one morning. I got a problem. I don't know how I got home. I'm like, I was sleeping off. He's like, I got a worse problem. I got $80 in my pocket. I'm like, check your bank. He checked it. He took $100 out. He's like, what was in the box with mustard? And how did I change my shoes? I'm like, oh my God, they roofied. He tried to tell me he used to be a New York cop. I'm like, go sleep it off. Seriously, go sleep it off. Well, he went back to that bar a few months later. He had told everybody he was an astronaut. Swore at a bunch of people, talked to other people. He has no memory. He'd been out sleep driving all night long. I talked to a sheriff about him. He said those amnesia drugs are so bad, they could have drugged up the people that took down the towers and told them to do it, and they did and said what they were told. They were breaking around me with the drugs they had. They can control everything people said and did. They're date rape drugs. Mind-controlling drugs. They're sleepwalking. I've talked to sheriffs about it, other ones. And he said those drugs are so horrible. You have no memory. So where that lady said she didn't know, they drugged me and told me, say, where you been? They've been breaking since the beginning of the case, laughing in my face in front of people. June 23rd to July 4th of 21, investigators have been around me since 18. They were in Walmart 62 by that paint out. What are these people talking about? We interviewed her whole family a long time ago. She's never hurt anybody. Girls that dated the drug dealers. Oh my goodness, those boys had a drugger to make her say that stuff. Nobody mentions those tapes again when we're out. Hmm? Exactly. Like the investigators say, Karen's a victim of an occult that drugged her and tried to kill her before. They also human trafficked me. And they sold FBI information. I ran a scam and defrauded the FBI and then mocked them. They've been part of a serial killing group. You want to put it that way? That's how not funny this is. No, I'm going to put it this way. I've never been questioned of wrongdoing. I've never been prosecuted. I've never been found guilty. Why? Because you're not in trouble for people breaking in your home, stalking you, photoshopping you, and drugging you up until you say stuff. And their tapes are so altered. The nurse said, well, March 2nd to the 3rd, 21, they said they're going to put 2 clips together, put her in a porn. It's not her, it's them. Then March 13, 21, Mercy Medical. They told the nurse the only thing they had me on was adjusting yourself. The guy said, that's sick. She said, no, she just simply wiped off water with clothes on. They didn't have anything else. She just brushed it off. He said, that's sick. She said, no, it's actually really funny. They didn't have anything else. She just brushed that water off. What's wrong with this? Then they start saying, you touched yourself, you exposed yourself, you touched yourself, look weird. Well, that's not wiping off water with clothes on. I thought you put my head on somebody else's body. Then you think about, what are you doing? You touch yourself, you expose yourself, you're undressing. You touch yourself, looks weird, but it's not weird. You can be putting yeast infection cream on. Why'd you get undressing in the shower and wash up? Showering, right? Walk outside to smoke. She figured out what they did. Laughing at me in the dark. May 12th, 22, May 26th, 22, the shower scene being in the other room. Finding tapes on them. And then at the Oakland apartment, December 9th, 21, 4 p.m., everything's drugged in Photoshop. Same day, Starr County Hunger Task Force, white man bald with dark eyes actually worked the case. They always knew the tapes were them and not me. So they never said a word. They talked to the Canton police and investigators. My client, Navarre, March of 22, retired Judge Pete ordered everything to be drugged and photoshopped. Now, we're going to put it this way. The only people I had in my home was the water treatment guy, the fireplace guy, the Spectrum, and the ADT. I had my family there. 8/8/18, there was a light in the security system. At midnight, I called 911. Police came out, and they were silly. Absolutely silly. And we only had 3 cameras on the outside. 1 to the back porch, 1 to the front porch, and 1 to the side yard. We only started laying a camera on the boat when people last of September were pulling. Okay? Had to hook it up with an extension cord. Okay? We only had those 3 cameras on the outside. They show up and they say, it looks like an alien orb or an angry spirit, ma'am. I'm like, sir, it's hot out there. Would you like a bottle of water? I thought he was dehydrated. He's like, no, ma'am, we're not allowed to use the bathroom on duty. I'm like, sir, you can use the bathroom. I'll give you some water. I thought the man was dehydrated. He's like, ma'am, you know how we handle trespassers out if somebody comes out on your property? You buy a big dog, you open the dog door and let the dog handle it. He didn't want bothered with a trespasser. Told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle it. I'm like, oh. Thought I fell off the edge of nowhere. If you actually take that camera, that picture, and you from the security system, you look at it in the dark. There's a man with a flashlight. They were scoping out my property. That's how not funny it is. I've never talked to anybody. They even told people in 21 no man actually talked to her. No, they used drugs on her instead. How illegal is this? I told you there was a group of women come down
from Ravenna that were part of this in January of 22. Came down to verify we made a big mistake being in her home. We came down to verify she's never said she did anything wrong before. And when she wiped off that water, she went straight down and didn't expose herself. As if we care about that. And those people raped her. What's wrong with this? That's where May 25th, 21, 6 p.m. of the church people breaking it in Louisville, Wendy's, of the church people breaking in before drugging me up and telling me, say, where to molest herself. That's not funny. May 25th, 21, by that Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, from 3 to 7 at night, one of Dave's girlfriends was a fat blonde girl. Okay? Drove a blue car. Even Mike seen her drive around the block. He said, I seen her. I was on Fairlawn Street. Goons from Ravenna are at the end. She's yelling at him. Are you crazy? You can't enter a drug confession. Well, we just found out they drugged her and told her what to say before. That was 21. His own girlfriend and the drug dealers. Then we got 8, 9, 21, the apartment building for me, second close offense. A lady and little girls lived there. They ratted where I was getting sick on Dave's drinks that he had even roofied me. Okay. 4 or 5 neighbors got together, had made a police report that I was drugged and told to say something before. Okay? They did a police report. November 2nd or 3rd of 21, an African-American lady was telling people in Save-A-Lot, don't say anything to her. I found out everything was them and not her. Okay? And she was telling them that. January 19th, 22, Department of Disability, they told them I was drugged and told to say it before. February 2nd, 22, Burlington Coat Factory, a Latino guy said he drugged me first and told me to say it. People ran in Save-A-Lot out of their houses on 6th Street screaming it to the postman. They're like, we all heard it. One of the guys from Ravenna pulled up next to my client's apartment and said, I've seen her out today. I found out that bastard really did drug her and tell her to say it before. And he was screaming it on 6th Street. Okay? March 24th, 22. They admitted to framing me outside and raping me. My neighbor, Amy, she's like, I heard that clear in my own apartment. She's heard him admit to drugging me and telling me to say crazy stuff, taunting me at night. Okay? November 18th, 22, Walmart 62, Eric, one of the drug dealers. All the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it. For all these people turn around and they actually fell for it. Okay? June 30th, 23, guess he went to a party. Guys were talking about it and how his life was at the party, how he fooled all these people into helping out. June 7th, 23, the cult makes fun of the FBI. FBI in Lighthouse Tabernacle inside Walmart 62, 10, 11 o'clock by the front bathroom. FBI agent John fell for this on the tapes before. Oh, come on now. That agent actually fell for it? You're kidding. Is that what's going on? John actually fell for it. FBI agent John fell for the stun of tapes before and it was only a stunt. Ha 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 ha. Mock him. July 9th, 23, Trinity Gospel. Women sitting right behind me admit to selling the login in the case made a ton of money. And the FBI wouldn't dare fix this after what one of their agents did. And they dared him. I thought SWAT teams would surround him. You know, that's where I was talking to my friend from the Stark County Prosecutor's Office. It's a fraud scheme, Karen. It's illegal to be in somebody's home no matter what, but protected like cases with statements. It's a fraud scheme. Photoshopping scenes like shower scenes and then breaking and drugging you up and telling you to say stuff and taping it. It's a fraud scheme. It's illegal to be in somebody's home. As if that agent didn't know it was a fraud scheme. They walked in and confessed to life in federal and he didn't arrest him. That's how bad this is. And he was laughing at a human trafficking victim that they were running a drug scam on a recorded line, and he had been in contact with my ex-husband's girlfriend's dad that he hired on his own. And he knew they knew. It was verified by cops that he was the one telling on me the night before I called him back at Apostolic Church of Barberton. He stole $290,000 from my case. And they run around, don't tell anybody what's going on. Why? Because they're the drug traders, human trafficking people. They have stolen over 1,076 children from January to May of 23 alone out of Ohio. Not counting women, just children human trafficked. They don't want people to tell on them because they don't want to get caught. It's like, effing tell on them. Blow people, emails up, phone calls. Get somebody else down here. See, my case where he bullied me on the phone and false statements, made me beg for my life. He let the main kidnapper for the human traffickers go. And that's who killed Lori's family member from my other job and took Merlisa's niece. We got the same story. The drug traders, human trafficking people. The guy, my kidnapper. And he's calling me a liar and screaming at me, and the authorities knew what he looked like. See, that's where it's ridiculous. And he's bullying me like heck on the phone, made me beg for my life. Then they yell out, Pete's, it's a shower scene. Stop, she don't know, giggling at a human trafficking victim that's being scammed. I went, what's going on? She don't know, ha ha ha, that I'm being stalked by a bunch of crackhead. The crackhead tapes. As if he didn't know those people were in drugs. They admitted to having sodium pentothal reports. Huh? That they were amnesia drugging me and telling me to say stuff. I want you to think about that. And he didn't arrest him. It's illegal to be in somebody's home no matter what, but protected like cases with statements. And they acknowledged it. I was talking to my friend from the prosecutor how that agent talked to me. He started laughing. He said that police could never go along with that agent talking to you like that. The only thing legal he did was list your informant with money and immunity. He said as far as the FBI, they cannot ever legally drop you. They'll go to jail for it. They try. He said they have to protect you the rest of your life and you're owed that money. He said a no sitting judge would write their own arrest warrant. He said they can't put it that if you tell someone, no one can help you. He said because that's illegal and you can tell whoever you want. Any witness protection program, that agent was only bullying you so he could get away with this. The freedom of speech. The only time the judge has to put a gag order on you in a sequestered or grand jury, and only during the trial. You can they can never even ask you to stay quiet. Last year, an agent out of state tried to with another informant, and they sued him, and the press ripped him a new one. If that agency ever tries to back one agent telling somebody they can't say anything, they need to shut them down. They're only hire law enforcement. See, that's where my friend from the prosecutor's office. He's only hire law enforcement. He don't have that kind of authority to even ask you to stay quiet. He was only bullying you into staying quiet so they could get away with it. I said, well, they already knew. I don't care. I said, he acknowledged they already knew. He acknowledged it. You do realize that. He acknowledged it. When they yell out about Pete before enlisting an informant that they've been talking to him. And they knew I was drugged and framed and didn't know and giggling at a human trafficking victim that's being scammed. Federal officers. That's how not funny it is. And like he said, no sitting judge would write their own arrest warrant by saying you can't say anything to anybody when that would be illegal. Where the First Amendment, you have the right of freedom of speech. The government would like to imply that you can't say anything, and they can't. It's a grand jury or a sequestered jury till the trial's over. They can never ask you to stay quiet. Like he said, and that judge would write his own arrest warrant. He tried to take somebody's freedom of speech away. No judge had ever signed that. I looked it up on Google. The only thing that they can put in a witness protection program is your money, your immunity. They can add living and housing expenses and a medical card. And they can never drop you. And it says right there. December 2nd, 22, some of the guys that watched me from the protective custody case. Is that the one that church tried to have killed? Yes. Heard she didn't get any money out of this? No. It's the one guy from the case stealing every dime since the first day. Let's go outside and talk. He acknowledged with giggling about Pete that he had been in contact with Dave. Who's Pete? Dave told Danny that he hired Pete on his own. It's his girlfriend's dad. And like Officer Reinhardt said,
Even the FBI would go to jail for looking at those tapes. It's illegal to be in somebody's home but protect a lie cases with statements. And he said as far as Portage County, with there being a retired judge's family involved, they can never work a case against you your whole life. They go to jail for conflict of interest, and they get thrown out for that. I've never been questioned or wrongdoing. I've never been prosecuted. I've never been found guilty. It's a big scam. And they scammed the FBI. And I just wonder if that guy just didn't open my case under fraud. So he thought of a sap and a victim that's in trouble would just steal our money. Open up the case and steal it. It's not the first agent that stole from cases. There was an agent that stole $225,000 from another case, got arrested. There's other ones on the Department of Justice. There's a lot of corrupt agents. So much money's at their fingertips. If they're not honest, they can defraud victims and steal from them. I'm going to upload this.